We'll be shifting our gears here a little bit to just again highlight some digital inclusion resources. We are not the only ones doing this. Everyone on as a national organization, as I mentioned at the top, have been doing this for over a decade, but there are many other organizations doing this work, and we always love to uplift our colleagues in this effort. Because everyone has, great ideas, everyone has great programs, and so any of them might also be of interest to you all to be able to reach out to and connect with and continue to learn from as you engage in digital inclusion work. So first off, we want to highlight the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, which is a nonprofit that really aims to advance digital equity by connecting organizations, by supporting programming in local communities, and specifically equipping policymakers to act. So they do a lot of advocacy at state, local, and federal levels with regards to equity and access to technology, training, and resources. One of the main draws I always like to really highlight, one of the things I really love about NDIA is that they host an affiliate network. They call it the NDIA community, where it's 1,700 plus members. It's probably larger now, of organizations, corporations, individuals, government who have pledged to work towards digital equity. And so it's a really great space where they have a listserv, for example. And so every day you're seeing folks ask questions of the community. Hey, I want to do a digital navigator program, but I've never launched one. Are there any resources? And individuals across the country in this network will reply back and say, yes, we launched one. This is what we did, or here are some of the resources we employ. These are lessons learned that we would ask you to think about as you go through this product. So it's a very collaborative group and effort, so that we are all building upon each other's successes. So again, not one organization does it all or can do it all, and so it's really about sharing the wealth of knowledge and energy in, again, closing the digital divide. They also have a lot of different resources for practitioners and in collaboration with practitioners, research that they uplift in their policy and advocacy work. So really encourage everyone to check them out if that is of interest. There are also, again, a number of other national organizations we want to highlight. Older Adults Technology Services, you might hear them referred to as OATS, is now a program of AARP, actually. And so they are really focused on supporting older adults in using technology, to manage their day-to-day life. The National Skills Coalition is a really wonderful organization. We actually highlighted some of the data in our presentation earlier is from some of their reports, really uplifting the fight for inclusive, high-quality skills training. And so not just specific digital skills training, workforce development, any training is really key to them. And so with regards to thinking about digital equity with regards to workforce development, they're a wonderful organization to really tap into and connect with to kind of help make that see-through line North Star Digital Literacy is a wonderful resource where they actually provide curriculums available to subscribing organizations. And so they have online assessments, they have online tools, video content where individuals who do not have digital skills can go through, take an assessment, see where they are in their digital skills journey, how much they might need to learn. They can sign up with the subscribing organization to take classes either in person or through their online portal. And, once they've finished their training, they can take assessments again to then identify, hey, I actually did meet this benchmark. I was able to, Microsoft Word, I'm an expert in Microsoft Excel, or whatever the case might be. And then North Star can also provide certificates or acknowledgments that they've met a certain level of digital skills training. And so it's a super great resource that folks should look into if that's something that they're considering with regards to providing digital skills training or making digital skills trainings available to the clients that you serve. Other national organizations include Electronic Frontier Foundation. They're a really great organization if you're interested in digital equity around user privacy. That is something that is really high on everyone's mind right now. There's a lot of conversation around what information social media, for example, has access to of their users, so on and so forth. So Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, how you might hear them reference, has been front and center of some of that work. There's also the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, which is a national research and advocacy organization. I really love to highlight their work with municipalities in terms of uplifting the need and cost benefit of municipal broadband networks. And so they have done a lot of work across the country to help municipalities understand whether or not they could launch their own community broadband network to provide internet to constituents, perhaps also advocating against laws that explicitly prohibit that sort of work in any given municipalities. And so they're an excellent organization to tap into if that is something that is of interest for you with regards to engaging municipalities, or if you are a municipality that is interested in community broadband networks, in concert with providers, they would be an excellent resource to tap into. Education Superhighway is other national nonprofit who is aiming to close the digital divide. They were previously focused on what was known as the homework gap, which was the gap of students who were unconnected to those that were connected. And since the pandemic, have switched their mission to also focus on the 18 million households that have access to the internet but can't afford to connect. And so really getting at that affordability issue that we talked about earlier during our report and in some of the statistics. And lastly, Common Sense, which is a wonderful organization that really has put prioritized family and children front and center in their work. They have recommendations on media, for example. So if you're not sure if a TV show or a video game or a a phone application like a game app or something are appropriate for children, or what is this app about, what information is being transmitted on there. They have scorecards for different media types where anyone can go online and see, for example, Roblox was really popular not too long ago, and so they had a scorecard on Roblox and what is this game, is it a game, what information are they asking, is it a paid app, all of that information that you would benefit, especially as a parent, to have ahead of time to know what your children are using or looking at, is available through Common Sense. But they also do a lot of advocacy and work around the digital divide and making sure that folks have access to the technology to navigate the digital world with their kids. And so also a really wonderful organization to connect to. The last thing I'll cover is digital equity data resources. And so again, I'm very much of the mindset that we cannot do it alone. Everyone needs to pitch in some way, shape, or form, or everybody has something to gain from digital equity being the goal. And so we also want to uplift where you can find data to that effect. Like, what is the problem? What are some of the solutions? And so we, of course, wanted to just kind of compile some here for you all. We would be remiss if we didn't include our own reports, the digital connectivity during the pandemic and the From Fear to Confidence, the digital skills journey of underserved women. But we also are highlighting the Pew Research Center, the National Digital Inclusion Alliance, which I mentioned, the Benton Institute for Broadband and Society, who've been doing research and work on data for decades. And then for government, there's also the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, NTIA, it's a very mouthful, who have lots of research, especially right now, since, as I mentioned earlier, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, IIJA, has already been being implemented in the last few years. NTIA took the lead on gathering a lot of data as to what the need is around the digital divide, and so that's readily available on their website. And then, of course, the United States Census Bureau, the census that's taken every 10 years, as well as the American Community Survey that is distributed and collected about once every year. And so there are treasure troves of data with regards to digital equity in any of these resources. And so we want to just uplift that the data is out there. You don't necessarily have to put together your own research to make the case that the digital divide is real and that digital inclusion work is important for whatever your mission may be. And now I'm actually going to kick it off to Diana to share a little bit more about other resources that are available across the country.
Yeah, thank you, Paulina. And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Microsoft Digital Equity Data Dashboard as well, as a wonderful source of data and information regarding the digital divide. This tool was released in 2012 or 2022, that is. It's a very robust tool that examines 20 different indicators of digital equity across the United States, such as broadband access, usage, education, and poverty rates. And this information can be really, really helpful for practitioners, grant writers, and policymakers alike to take information and make decisions about it. And so we'll go on to the next slide. Thank you. So the next slide here is covering computer refurbishers. So we talked a lot about internet service and availability and speeds and those types of things. And so on next here is resources and information about national computer refurbishers. And so what these organizations do is that they source computers from corporations, for example, who are doing refreshes on their entire stock of computers across their organizations, maybe some government programs that or government organizations that are also doing refreshes. Take those devices and instead of sending them into e-waste to be taken apart, they refurbish those computers, rehabilitate them, and then get them back out into the community for low cost, at low cost or no cost to participants. And so, of course, we at Everyone On, we work with computer refurbishers to help get computers back into the hands of community members. And so these are some of the folks that we work with: Human IT, PCs for People, CompuDot, and Planet ROI. So again, these are all national nonprofit organizations or national computer refurbishing organizations that offer PCs, Macs, or Apple-based computers. They also offer a variety of other types of devices, and so I encourage you to take a look through each of their websites to see what offerings they have. And in addition to that, some of these organizations also provide additional types of support to communities. So things like digital navigation services, digital skills classes. So they may be a valuable resource, kind of all together in terms of what they support. So we'll go on to the next slide here. And as I mentioned, the previous slide was for national organizations. What this site does, so Digitunity is an organization that focuses more on structural equity across the board in terms of making sure that we get computers into the hands of our community members. And so what they have done here is they've collected information about local computer refurbishers across the United States. So if you'd like to, instead of engaging with a national nonprofit or a national computer refurbisher to provide devices in your community, you may want to go with Digitunity, plug in some information about your location, your city, your or where your clients are and where you'd like to source your computers from, and see if there's a local refurbisher that you'd prefer to work with as well. So we want to support those local organizations as well. And Digitunity has information about folks across the country. I'll go on to the next slide. Lastly, we'll cover the Everyone On Digital Learning Center. Now, our Digital Learning Center was designed to serve as a source of high quality free digital content And so every link on our Digital Learning Center will take you someplace where you'll receive information, classes, resources, tip sheets on things like computer and internet basics, online employment, health and wellness, finances, all of these basic and kind of more advanced things that are going to help you save time and money or upskill. So feel free, we encourage you to visit everyoneon.org and navigate to our Digital Learning Center to further your learning on this topic or any others that you're interested in learning. And so we'll go on to the next slide here. And this is our final slide. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for joining us for our training today. We hope that you enjoyed this session. I'd like to highlight that we've included our contact information here in case you'd like to get in touch with either Paulina or myself. And I also encourage you to fill out the survey. A link will pop up just to let us know how we did. So again, thank you very much. And feel free to reach out if you have questions or require further information. Thank you.